Is this like Lieutenant? Is that what's going on here? I guess.
Yeah, yes. Is the upper deck of a sailing ship forward of the foremast, or historically the forward part of a ship with the sailor's living quarters.
It's just a big room. Folkmast instead of foremast, isn't it? Folksmast. If it's forecastle, it's forecast.
Yeah, you think it should be foremast. No, it's forecast anyway.
Whatever, man. Whatever, Navy. Yeah. Whatever you say.
But it's just a big empty room towards the front of the ship, and they weld them all in there, and that's where the entire crew is, apart from 6 guys, most of whom we've seen speak before now, who are secluded in another welded room somewhere else. And, of course, Casey Ryback still in the meat locker. So he hears the shooting, and he tries to get the guy on the guard outside. He's like, there's some shooting. Go and see what that is. And the guy's like, nah, I'm going to eat this hunk of bread. I'm going to check on the burning lemon meringue pies, get him out of
I do like that. I do like the timing of that line where he goes, go check out the fireworks. And there's like dead silence. He goes, get my pies out of the oven. I did like that. That was kind of good.
Priorities.
Comedic timing.
So the ship has been taken over like 20 minutes into the film, and it's already happened. Which was pretty quick. I was surprised by how quickly we got into the plot.
Yes, I'm saying they could have. Again, they would never do this now, but this movie could have been more fleshed out. Like we could have seen, because we get to learn about his past, and that the captain doesn't like him because of his cooking. It's because of his past. You could have fleshed this little thing out a little bit more. Have maybe the siege happened in the middle of the movie. Something in the middle of the movie. Yeah,
I don't mind. I mean, regular co-host Mark watched this film recently and wanted to work out for how much of the film is the ship under siege. The kind of thing he does, and I'm just.
Yes, I think I saw this, but I didn't see the timing. I think it was like 50. I'm not going to guess the number, but I did see this on Twitter. I was like, God damn it, he has this to a science.
So, Under Siege is... So the USS Missouri is under siege for 79.5% of the film's running time.
Which is truth in advertising. They're seeing that they're suing the makers of Yesterday because Ana de Armas isn't but she's in the commercial. At least, they don't lie about Under Siege. The movie, the boat is under siege. There's no lies going on here. So there you go.
And he's decided that for a film to have siege in the title, it needs to have a minimum of 57.3% siege.
Where did he get that number? Did he get that number?
He's done the maths. I haven't seen the workings out, but he's done it. We have to just trust his expertise in this matter.
59. What? 59. What was it?
57.3.
What if it's 57.2? Are we this movie's false? No.
You can't have siege in the title. Unless it's like barely under siege.
They just call it Ryback. This Ryback.
Oh, God. They're just going to die hard on a boat at that point.
It is. That's what it is.
Die wetter.
Die wet. Wet hard. No, that's not sexual. No, we can't do that one.
That sounds too much like a terrible Kevin Hart. So the ship has been taken over. I enjoyed the call that Tommy Lee Jones makes to the higher ups.
I call it the Asian Dawn scene where he's doing the fake 100%. Hans Gruber intentions when it really has other intentions, because that's when the Tommy Lee Jones comes out, where he's doing frantic Tommy Lee, and then there's a moment where he's like, no, this is serious Tommy Lee at the very end. And as I'm listening to him talk, and I'm like, I'm kind of on his side here. They sent men to kill him because they closed down an operation he was a part of that he did that they sanctioned. So why do you think he wasn't going to be? He goes, you tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. And I was like, that was good, Tommy Lee. And I was with him.
Yeah, it's kind of like Ed Harris in The Rock. Where you're like, these guys should have been paid.
That is 1,000% correct. That's exactly what happened. Where you're like, you know what, Ed Harris, you got a point here. I kind of get it.
But where in The Rock, Ed Harris's character is like, oh, there's kids in here. I'm going to get rid of the kids so they're not hostile. There's like some positive elements to it.
Right. He's not a monster. He even, in Ed Harris is a spoiler for The Rock or whatever. His end, you can tell he wasn't a monster. He didn't want to, his men betray him because he wasn't willing to go that extra step. Tommy Lee Jones definitely is, but that's, they both come from, they're doing this for money, I guess.
Yeah.
Or he's doing it for money, but it was precipitated by the CIA trying to assassinate him for doing his job, essentially. Unless I'm missing a line that they say.
I think that's right. But one of the guys that they're talking to, the higher-ups, he believes Tommy Jones to be insane.
Right.
Because of action. And that apparently has been a ruse by Tommy Jones so that this would all happen, this would all make sense. But then by the end of the film, it turns out, oh no, he is actually insane.
So he was insane. Was he insane or was he just shell-shocked because a freaking a cannon went off next to his head?
I mean, well, maybe, yeah, but by the end of the film, he has become insane, shall we say. So it's
yes, he is
a self-fulfilling prophecy kind of thing. So Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey go up to the captain's quarters to get the disc that's got the launch codes. Busey's still in drag, but without the wig on, reading a letter of
I wish he would have stayed in the entire movie like that.
I'm glad he didn't. But so he's sat there reading this thing that suggests he should have a psych evaluation. And he's like, "Do you think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy." But he's just dressed.
Does it look like I need a psych evaluation?
It's a fun scene.
Jones is sitting back there. Not at all.
It is a fun scene. And yeah,
they have good chemistry. They should have had. I mean, I think
Busey as the Riddler.
Right. Well, don't.
I can see you trying not to go there.
Oh man, I'm writing this down. But no, I can tell because Seagal is, let's just say, is kindly limited as an actor. They focused a lot on Tommy Lee and Gary Busey, and it wasn't even enough for me because they meshed together well. It's the Carl Hans relationship, but if Carl had just as much charisma as Hans, because Gary Busey is, you know what he does. He just chews scenery, but he chews scenery in a different way than Tommy Lee, so they kind of fit together.
Yeah, and it works very well. So they're different kinds of crazy, shall we say?
Yes.
Where I mean, especially in real life, where Busey has all of it, and Tommy Lee Jones just seems like a normal guy.
Yeah.
They fit well together. I was going to say two sides of the same coin.
The trifecta of them. It's him, who's, Tommy Lee, who's kind of like, theatrical crazy. Gary Busey, who's really crazy. And you got Cole Meany, who's kind of like the guy who says the funny line, who's not on camera all the time. He keeps saying I think he says like, they never liked me anyway. I bet you they love you now or whatever.
I do enjoy how much Gary Busey just hates everyone. Like the whole crew, he hates them all.
He has a point. He says, they hated me, so screw them. At least he doesn't backstep. He's like, look, screw those guys. I don't care what happens to them.
And part of Tommy Jones convincing the higher ups that he is crazy involved the people that they sent to kill him. He sent their fingers back to the higher ups. It
was their trigger fingers. The trigger fingers back to them. That was pretty clever.
Yeah. So the crew are still in the forecastle. They're banging on the whole SOS just in case. You never know. Got to do something in there.
Could be a shark listening.
Could be anything. You know, just a shark at the window.
Don't bring back that movie. I can hear you. I can hear what you're saying about me.
And they send a couple of guys to deal with Casey Ryback. They kill the guard. Just didn't even check to see if he was on side. They just kill him, and then they open the door to the meat locker and just open fire. But he's not in there. They go in, and he's in the ceiling. Drops down a ceiling grate that knocks one guy out pretty much, and he just takes them both out because it's Steven Seagal and he can take out anyone. And then he locks them back in the meat locker. But it's pretty quick for them to shoot themselves out of there. But he deals with them pretty quickly. It's a Steven Seagal film. I get the feeling that happens in all of them, where he's just kind of unstoppable.
And then there's a smoking gun payoff, which I almost forgot about, where after he dispatches the guys, he kind of like starts putting some stuff together, and he puts it in a microwave, and you almost forget. It's like 20 minutes later, or maybe it's not less than that, but it just seems like a long time passes, and you forget all about the thing that he put in the microwave.
A similar thing happens in a film we talked about recently with your colleague, with Matt Stewart, in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. There's an exploding microwave in that.
Is this the same writer? I doubt
it. Somehow.
Is Andrew Dice Clay in this movie?
But I have seen more Andrew Dice Clay films than I have Steven Seagal.
That's not a bad thing. That's not a bad.
I think it's unusual. So Seagal, he's now out. He's skulking on the ship. He finds the dead captain, and he goes into the party room. It's deserted. He's kind of piecing together what's happened, and he just pushes the cake out of the way, which wakes up Jordan Tate inside. Then she bursts out dancing. She's just wearing a thong and an open jacket and nothing else.
Again, could never do this today. Never
no, my wife's comment was, those aren't real. I think she might be onto something. And so then Casey's now stuck with Jordan Tate, which he doesn't seem all that pleased with initially, because she doesn't want to be alone. When he just shoves her into a locker and walks away, she starts making a bit of a ruckus. Understandably, she's terrified. So it probably would be too. So he ends up having to recruit her on board.
I didn't like the scene. I did love the scene with him and the captain. Again, if they would have fleshed it out more, that it would have probably hit harder, where he kind of covers him up with it was kind of like a little mini funeral he has for him. And then he tells her, this is the safest place for you to be. She starts banging on the door, and he says, if you keep banging on the door, they're going to come and kill you. So if I'm her at the situation, I'm like, okay. But she immediately starts making noise. I'm like, what do you want? I don't want to be alone. You're going to die. Do you understand what will happen? He literally says, do you understand what's going to happen if they hear you? They're going to kill you. But I don't want to be alone. You're going to die. Your alternative is death. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, she's not equipped for this situation. She's not, I get where she's going from. She's terrified. She doesn't want to be there. But she might see this guy as safety. He's rescued her at this point, essentially. So she wants to stay with him because, it's, as she says later in the film, the safest place on the ship is right behind him. So, I don't know. They need... Plot contrivance has to have these two together.
Okay.
And so it does. We have maybe the two weakest actors in the film are now our two leads, essentially.
No. And this is where Die Hard and Under Siege part ways. Instead of Reginald Vell Johnson and Bruce Willis, you now have Steven Seagal and a playmate roaming a boat.
Yeah. But I mean, I would say they're not terrible. Seagal has a presence to him. There's a reason why he's made so many films.
Right.
And he has a fan base. And
he sells real tough guy.
Yeah.
Like if somebody, at least at the time, when you say, oh, this guy's a Navy SEAL, you're like, yeah, I buy that. I buy it. Like
he has a physicality to it.
Right.
And what is the martial art that he does?
Is it Krav Maga or Judo or Taekwondo? Aikido? I think it's Aikido.
Okay, whatever it is, it involves a lot of waving your hands around as a kind of distraction, which is a valid method of distraction. But last week we talked about Ravenous on the show, and Robert Carlyle does something quite similar. When he, just before he kind of turns and goes a little bit crazy, he's just like waving his hands around in the similar way that Seagal does in here. I watched them both in the same day. It's like, this is odd.
He's a 7th degree black belt in Aikido, karate, judo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, kendo, and a word I'm not going to pronounce because I don't want to get canceled.
Fair enough.
But no, it's the waving of the hands thing always makes me laugh. The only thing funnier to me, and we brought this up on we've done many of Seagal commentary, is not just the waving of the hands. We're going to get to a scene. It might have already happened. Seagal's run is one of the things. There's certain cinematic runs in history. Tom Cruise probably has the greatest run in movies. Seagal's run I put right up there because it's like a duck. It's like a weird duck run.
A duck run. Okay.
Like if a duck had the capabilities to move as fast as a human, it would look like Steven Seagal running down the street. It looks weird.
A horrific image.
I had to spit out of you, didn't I? The duck running at me, the speed of a human. Oh my God.
I can't say I picked up on the running, but I will look out for it in future films.
It was one in this one shot here where he's running on the surface of the boat, like he's running for cover, and it seems like he's running weird because he's like trying to be quiet or something. But no,